Dad's dream to talk about his favorite team with the son of digging the stats. Come and join us, nerding on the Dbacks.
Hello, welcome to Nerding on the Dbacks. I'm Son/Phoenix.
Yeah, and I'm Dad/Chris. And this is the best
And only
father-son baseball show
in America.
That's right.
They don't got this in... Mexico. They don't got this in Mexico.
No, they don't. They don't. They do love their baseball, though. Well, they're pretty big baseball players there. They're pretty big. It's a good sport. It's got a decent following. So please, since you're here, take a little moment to just, toss that phone sideways if you're watching us on YouTube or doing whatever you can to like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, or channel that into kindergartner.
And share.
That's right. And honestly, that's the best part is the sharing. So if you're joining us for the first time, rather than discuss individual games or series, we prefer to nerd out on the big picture. And we focus more on performance than production. So, and of course, we always start off with what's been happening. I gotta say, I never ever when you started up this school year expected life to be this busy. It is insane. So we're a few days late, and we're actually going to kind of reset our schedule how I wanted to do it. So we're going to start doing the recaps on Sunday afternoons after they play on Sunday, and then we'll start to do our prediction show every Thursday afternoon because we can do that pretty quicker. It's quicker and easier. I think that'll make it a little easier to stay on schedule doing it that way. So that said, you have far too much going on. You know that? Oh, nerding on the Dbacks. I love it. That's it. LGJ. We got to get Supermart to start wearing that Superman shirt underneath. So you could just seriously, you've seen a lot of closers have some cool celebrations when they close out a game, right? Some neat stuff that they do. I've got to say that if every game that Supermart saved, he just went out there after he got the last out and just ripped the jersey open, it'd be so much fun.
They couldn't do that.
I'm sure they could.
No, they'd have to pay for a jersey every time he went out there.
I don't know this, but I think they get new jerseys pretty much every game if they want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So, and it's not like they just need a seamstress to sew the button back on.
Just be like,
It's true. It is. Baseball jerseys have some strange buttoning. So, so it's you've been relatively exhausted, particularly once Saturday afternoons come along. You've actually even been telling friends that you just don't want to go hang out in the evenings because you just want to sit. And you've never really done that in the past, except for after football games, which I understand. Football games are pretty brutal. And so that's a whole new level of exhaustion for you. But we're pulling through. We're making this happen. I like it. That's beautiful. And I feel like we're looking like champs, especially when you're looking like that. Yeah, there we go. Champs. Yeah, kind of like the Dbacks.
Yeah.
Yep. And they swept. They got swept in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
That was pretty ugly. But then I said after the game on Monday after the sweep, after they got swept in Tampa, I commented maybe that sweep against the Rays was kind of a wake-up call for the team. Seems like they heard it because then they swept the Marlins in Miami and they swept the Bo Sox in Boston, which that's a pretty good road trip, all things considered.
That's pretty good road trip.
And they came out on fire, like I suggested about the wake-up call. They stayed hot. And, of course, that means we got to talk about who's hot, who's not, and that's this guy's show.
Me?
No, that guy.
Oh.
Yeah. Come on over. Yes, you.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So, and, of course, we always start every who's hot,
Sorry, Jesse.
who's not with...
I said it's getting hot in here.
All right, so let's get into some of this nonsense here with who has been hot.
So I did the last.
The whole team, you say? No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I hope not. I did.
Almost.
I did the last 7 days for the Dbacks today. So for our starting pitcher, I put Ryan Nelson.
Yeah, Ryan, ace of the staff.
Yep.
That's not true. Gallen kind of showed why he was ace of the staff yesterday, but Nelly had a great start this week too.
Yep. So Nelson had six innings pitched, 2 runs, all earned, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 home run, and his WPA is 0.22.
Woo! That's right. Nelly, I think if name value didn't mean anything, I think at this stage in the season, you'd probably, if the playoffs started tomorrow, Nelson might be your game 2 starter after Gallen. We'll see if Nelson can stay hot. He's been hot. He's been just on fire for the last, 10 weeks? It's basically his last 10 starts or so.
Yeah.
He's been outrageously good. So that part's awesome. Who do we got for our hot relief pitcher?
Well, we got the wrestler himself, Kevin Ginkel.
Woo! WWE Championship belt. He's bringing it, Gene.
He has 5 innings pitched, 1 run, 0 earned, 6 strikeouts, and then 0 home runs. And his WPA is 0.42.
That's right. No walks in there. He has been electric. I can't believe he has 5 innings pitched. That's insane to me. Wow. Yeah, he has been so good. After that little stumble out the gate for him, much like most of the D-backs pitching staff in general, starters and relievers, except for Merrill Kelly. He came out just pitching like he was a Cy Young candidate to start the season. But everybody else in April was pretty ugly, including Ginkel. And man, has he turned his season around in a big way. And it's been awesome. Ginkel and Puck and and Supermart are about as crazy of a 3-headed monster as you get at the back of a bullpen, sans Cleveland Guardians, because that team's outrageously good in the back of their bullpen. They got I think they've got 4 guys, if I recall, 4 relief pitchers out of their bullpen that have been pitching pretty much all season for them that have ERAs under 1. They pretty much never give up runs. It's insane. Manuel Clase, their closer, last week saved 4 games in 4 days.
That's too much.
I know, right?
I call steroids.
Who knows? That is impressive, though. So continue on. Sorry, who's our hot hitters?
It's getting hot in here with Jock Peterson.
Woo! Big Rock Jock.
And his OPS is 1 dot.
Yeah, that's it. Just 1 dot.
Just 1 dot. There's nothing else.
Yeah, flat. That's impressive.
Yeah. He has 27 plate appearances. He has 1 double, 1 home run, 6 walks.
6 walks.
6 walks.
That's incredible.
6 runs, 3 RBIs, and 1 stolen base.
Yeah, even stole base.
And his WPA is 0.70.
Yeah, rockin' week. I just want to remind everybody out there, before the season even started, before they ever signed Jock Peterson, we did a DH draft, and we did a lightning round, which you can go find on TikTok or on YouTube Shorts. And this kid got the first pick in the draft, and he drafted Jock Peterson, number 1 overall for all of the DHs. I think we had 8 guys that we qualified for DH draft picks, and you picked Jock Peterson number 1, and they ended up signing him, and he is showing exactly why you had him number 1.
Yeah.
And so did Mike Hazen.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I have been waiting to say this name for a long time.
Yes. Woo! Gurio. Bring that down a little bit. Yeah.
It is the one, the man, the hair, the purple hair or blue hair or purple.
Yeah.
It is Lourdes Gurio. Woo.
Junior. Woo!
No, it was just.
Loving that hair.
It was actually Lourdes Guillorme Sr.
Oh, okay.
His OPS is 1.167.
That would be really weird if Senior came back and started playing Major League Baseball again.
I think he had Lourdes had the highest OPS on the team. Junior. What? I'll say his OPS again. 1.167.
Yes.
And
Love it.
He has 25 plate appearances.
Say it again for me.
Okay, he has 2 doubles, 1 home run, 3 walks, 3 runs, 6 RBIs, 1 stolen base. His WPA is 0.50.
As the kids say, that'll play.
I don't think the kids say that.
No.
Yeah, the kids say that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Yeah, sweet. That is all our hot boys. That's right. Good job, hot boys.
Yeah.
You've earned it.
Especially Lourdes.
So now, because we got to be fair around here, we got to talk about some of the guys who have been holding us back a little bit. The reason why maybe we lost a game or two in Tampa. Let's talk about it.
Igloo.
All right. So who has been our cold starting pitcher of the week?
Well, these 3 guys have been living in an igloo. For the starting pitcher, it's Merrill Kelly.
Yeah, Merrill. I know you could have put Jordan Montgomery on here, but being that he's no longer a starting pitcher, which we'll discuss, I think this is the right choice.
Yep. Sorry, my head itches. So, Merrill Kelly is 5 innings pitched, 6 runs, all earned.
Oof.
4 strikeouts, 2 walks, 1 home run, and his WPA is negative 0.21.
Yeah, so we're recording this Sunday after the game. He kind of struggled today as well, giving up 4 runs in today's game in 6 innings pitched, I want to say. He pitched better. He's definitely not as sharp as he was to start the season. But, we've got Nelson and Gallen pitching amazing. And you got Eduardo Rodriguez looking pretty fantastic so far through 3 starts after his return. And then Fott is looking, Fott's really good as well. I mean, you got 4 pitchers right now who are pitching really, really good baseball. And so that Kelly's going to take a little while. Maybe he just doesn't get back to the Merrill Kelly that we know before the end of the season. I don't think that's any smudge on his record. Yes, I made that word up. So I know Merrill Kelly will get back. And even if he's not, he pitched amazing to start the season, and his numbers probably still look good.
Yep. And for the relieving pitcher,
we don't really have one. I know you wrote this down, so tell them who you wrote down.
I wrote Dylan Floro.
Yeah. And how many runs did he give up?
That's how many runs he gave up.
Yeah, none at all in 3.1 innings pitched. So I just don't think we can. He didn't do anything special, but he did his job. Let's just talk about who our cold hitter. We've only got one cold hitter as well. This team's been on fire.
Yep, and it's Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, you know what? Usually I would give Eugenio the big pep talk, right? Like I always do for all our cold guys.
Yep.
Except for he doesn't need it. He already went off. It doesn't include today's game, and he went 4 for 4. But let's tell him what Suarez was hitting in the previous 7 games before that breakout performance today.
Well, his OPS is .548. He has 27 plate appearances, 1 double, 1 home run, 1 walk, 3 runs, 7 RBIs, 0 stolen bases, and his WPA is negative 0.15.
I mean, woo! He already got himself off the snide, so that's what we're... Now, Kelly, you're the only one left. So that's it for our hot and cold. Nicely done there, Phoenix. Next up, I'm going to bring my Ketel Marte unbiased MVP odds update to you.
Are you sure it's unbiased?
It's 100% unbiased, which you will find here as we start to just go down these numbers. So Marte is on the injured list, of course, and he's fallen behind. And so he's still stuck at 5.4 WAR from Fangraphs, while 6.1 on Baseball Reference. That comes out to a 5.8 composite. There's no real word on when he's going to be coming back, so I reduced his odds pretty severely when we go through the numbers here. Lindor, 6.5 on Fangraphs, while a 5.9 on Baseball Reference. That makes a 6.2 composite. Ohtani's got a 5.3 on Fangraphs and a 6.6 on Baseball Reference. And I always round up, so I'm going to give him a 6.5 on that composite. Meanwhile, Ellie, 5.8 on Fangraphs WAR.
I kind of forgot what WAR was.
Oh, it's wins above replacement. And so it's just kind of a number that counts up all of the things that the player has done for the season and tries to give it a value for how many wins above a replacement team. And a replacement team is basically considered like guys who are. Have you ever heard the term quad A? Because you got AAA, right?
Oh, yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah,
it was it's kind of like the majors, but it's not.
Yeah, well, it's right. It means they're really good at AAA. They're better than AAA players, and they kind of crush AAA, whatever it is, pitching or hitting. It seems to be more common with hitters than with pitchers. More hitters get the quad A label, but it's where essentially you're good enough to fill in on a major league roster to be a replacement that gets called up, right? But you're not really so good that the team can't just send you back down. So like Blaze Alexander would be a really good example of a replacement level player. He's just kind of there. He's not hurting your team. He's not going to give you negative value. But they take it depends on your WAR. Some have a replacement level team is a 47 win team, for example. Somewhere between 44 and 47, depending on the WAR system used. And it counts defense, base running, hitting, fielding.
Why would the different websites have different WAR? Wouldn't it be the same equation to do?
No, because it mostly the offense from the players is pretty close to the same value. They just value defense differently for the most part. So like 95% of the difference in the WAR score is how they score defense basically for these players. So one might use defensive runs saved, one might use fielding run value, another one might use outs above average. There's just it just depends on what the system is. And so that's where the difference in WAR comes from. And typically, so like Aaron Judge, who's been the best player in baseball so far, or arguably the best player in baseball so far, he has almost a 10 WAR already on Fangraphs, which is like a legendary season. So Ohtani is at 6. I was saying Ellie is at a 5.2 composite. So this is where I have these guys. Remember, Lindor is at a 6.2 composite WAR. I give him a 47% chance to win the MVP in the NL right now. And then I give Ohtani a 36% chance. He's got a 6.5 composite WAR. Yes, it's higher than Lindor's, but Lindor plays Gold Glove level defense at shortstop, the hardest position on the field to play other than catcher, of course. And so I just give him I just think that's worth more than just hitting the way that Ohtani has it. Ohtani has hit really, really well this season, but not like so incredibly well that it makes up for the fact that he just DHs and that's all. He has had a lot of good hits, but Lindor's been so effing good recently and has really, really kind of taken the reins in this thing. So yeah, like I said, Marte, he's been out. There's no real talk about when he's going to come back. And with that being the case, I put him at 15%. I think there's almost no chance. He would pretty much have to come back in a few days as soon as he's eligible for him to not fall too far behind to still give him a chance. And I just don't think that's happening. So those are the Ketel Marte unbiased MVP odds update. And that's why I said unbiased, because I just don't think Ketel's going to have a real shot at winning this anymore.
Well,
so let's talk a little bit about the team, and we've got to start with the rotation. The Montgomery saga has come to an end. Woo! He's finally been sent to the bullpen, as we've been talking about for about the last month. This really pretty much stopped being a conversation about Montgomery versus Nelson. Like, Nelson's been incredible, and there is pretty much no way you're taking him out of the rotation. On the flip side, by measure of ERA, Montgomery has been where would you rank him as pitcher on this season in all of Major League Baseball?
well, he was at the bottom.
Yeah, he was last out of, I think it was like 170 something ish pitchers that had 75 innings pitched, and like another 120 something that had 17 games started, and
He was
the
bad.
worst of them all by measure of ERA.
It was bad.
It was bad. And so the question wasn't really Montgomery versus Nelson. It really just became, how many more opportunities would Monty get before the Diamondbacks went back to a 5-man rotation and moved Monty to the pen? Because that was pretty much inevitable. And so they did it. And I think the D-backs, let's just say, since they moved Montgomery to the pen, the D-backs haven't lost. That's a good sign.
Woo!
Yeah. They don't got their stopper in the rotation anymore. That's going to be helpful. There is a bit of a wrinkle that I had read that he gets another few million for starting. Montgomery does for starting 4 more games in 2024. And there was speculation in that article that if the D-backs were to move Montgomery to the pen, he'd file a grievance.
A grievance?
Yeah. So
General Grievous?
grievance. That's funny. Yes, we're Star Wars fans.
No, we're not. We just, I kind of just guessed what his name was.
And so, my understanding of how, what it means is Montgomery, since he's 4 games away,
He grows 4
starts.
hands and deals 4 lightsabers and stars in 2 Star Wars movies. That was just a
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually does.
Lightsaber baseball. Yeah.
That's not
Saber
it.
ball.
No.
Oh. So
No, not a D-bear.
So Monty, what it means is that essentially, in order to get paid, like the MLBPA would say that which is the Players Association, which would represent Montgomery, would be saying that the D-backs moved him to the bullpen to avoid having to pay him $2 million extra in 2025. And I think that is really, really unlikely to happen. Even if it does, I can't imagine that they would win. And I say that because typically what they do is they take these to court, right? Like literally, and it gets arbitrated out by essentially a jury. It's not a jury literally, but it's an arbiter. And usually these arbiters know nothing about baseball. That's why they're put on this gig. And so what they do is they go off of historical precedent, and being the worst pitcher in MLB by the statistical number of ERA, that is the most prominent and historically used statistic to decide cases like that. And so I don't think there's a chance that Montgomery would win that. You literally, if you're,
I am the worst pitcher in baseball.
right. And you hate to be the Diamondbacks, and you don't really want to be Montgomery in that situation either. I just don't even think he's going to file a grievance about it. It seems kind of weird if he did. And so
I am the worst player in baseball, but my mother thinks
Right.
I am the best.
So to have you don't really want to be the Diamondbacks and go, yeah, he was the worst pitcher in baseball. What are we talking about? Like, why do you want to go say that? You don't want to go say that about a guy who's going to be pitching for your team next season. And so I just don't think that it's going to happen. And so, yeah.
You got to know when you're bad.
Right. And he's got to be, I imagine Montgomery's pretty self-aware of how terrible he's been as a pitcher this season. So the Montgomery saga was really just kind of a conversation about the team and if they were going to prioritize winning over the politics of the contract that he had signed, right? And everything going around that. And the answer is yes, they are prioritizing winning, which is awesome as a fan. I really don't perceive that any differently than with moving Seawald from the closer role early in the season. They were the highest paid player on their pitching unit. They were the oldest. They're both the oldest. They were both pitching absolutely terribly at the time, and they were both costing their team games. And so I don't think it was ultimately, like I said, it was just a matter of time. I can tell you from experience of years of playing baseball myself, and never anywhere close to the major league level, but playing nonetheless, that getting to the clubhouse or the dugout in the middle of a playoff race or something like that, and finding that your manager is not writing up the lineup that you feel gives your team the best chance to win each day is absolutely so demoralizing. It's so frustrating to go out there because you are giving everything that you can, and your manager is not putting you in the best position to win each and every game. And I got to imagine in an MLB clubhouse, you can really lose the team if you're a manager and you keep doing that over and over and over. And honestly, this may not even be the manager's fault. It may not be Lovallo's fault in this situation. I want people to understand that Montgomery continuing to pitch might have had little to nothing to do with Lovallo. It may not have been in his hands. I may be wrong, but I got to believe that Torrey was a former Major League Baseball player, and if the decision
he was just a guy on the street.
And if he was, he just happened to be walking by and
hey, you want to go manage your baseball team?
Bill, the custodian, it was just like out having a smoke break, and he's like, hey, you want to come manage? You want to come manage a Major League Baseball team? It's kind of like that Lou Brown, when they called up Lou Brown in Major League. I don't know. I got some guy on the other line asking about some drywall. Let me get back to you, right? So, yeah, no, he was a former MLBer, and I wouldn't be surprised if Monty was, if it was just Torrey making the decision, because he doesn't want to lose the clubhouse. He knows what it's like to be those other guys in there. And
no, I didn't.
And so they don't, Monty probably would have been in the bullpen a week or two earlier, I imagine. And I have a feeling that it took so long, primarily because of Hazen kind of holding Lovallo hostage a little bit with his decision. And his motivations didn't entirely have to do Hazen, didn't entirely have to do with winning ball games right now. I kind of get it, like that he would want to keep him going. It's a big signing, their biggest signing of the offseason for a single season. He's the highest paid player on the entire roster. And so it doesn't look great on Hazen, but you just kind of cut a sunk cost when you can. So let's talk about that bullpen a little bit. What do you think? Should we move on?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, let's give us a second. So, we don't have a sponsor today, so that's our sponsor. Thank you for not sponsoring us.
Okay. You look very, very upset.
I'm so happy.
You're so angry at nobody.
I'm so happy.
Come on, world. Give us a sponsor.
It's not really the world. It's just I can find a stupid sponsor to give us.
Gotcha. All right, so.
Anyways, let's get back to the bullpen.
So like we were talking about with Supermart and Puck and Ginkel, that makes an incredible, Supermart and Puck seem to pretty much be having the 8th and 9th together. And then Ginkel is pretty much always throwing the 7th, or he's coming in as the fireman. Do you know what that means?
Oh, the fire truck man.
The fireman. The fireman.
Yeah, doesn't he put out fires?
Yeah, so anytime somebody, the starting pitcher or another relief pitcher gets themselves in trouble where they've got 2 men on base
or they have a fire around them.
Yeah, so it's right, because they're on the pitcher's mound in the center of the diamond, and there's a fire going on the base pass because of.
I mean, he's on the dirt, and the dirt won't catch fire. It's only the grass.
Yeah. So you get it though, the concept that we're discussing here, right? And Ginkel's the fireman coming in with the hose, because all the fire that's on the bases, and
Like,
he's got to put an end to that fire.
Kinkle's a fire truck guy?
Yeah, that would obviously be his WWE character. He would be a fireman. He'd come in with an axe.
What?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I guess they do have axes.
Yep. So, all right. So, I just want, regarding Supermart and Puck, they've been absolutely incredible at the back end of the bullpen, and I hope that Torrey kind of stays fluid with them and basically throws those two based on batter matchups and not necessarily the inning number.
What's a batter matchup?
Okay, so if you're
are they on a cooking show?
Yeah. I mean, probably after the game.
Are they on Brandon Cook's cooking show?
Brandon Cook. Shout out.
No, he's got enough money.
Oh, well, I have no idea who this is.
He's a guy on the well, I think he used to be on the Cowboys.
Oh.
In the NFL. Anyways, baseball.
Okay. So, what I mean is that if they're going into the 8th inning, the D-backs are going into the 8th inning, right?
With a cake.
And no cake.
Oh,
that's
cupcakes?
That's in the spread after the game.
Then why are we still talking about the batter matchups?
Because the batter, if you got 4 right-handers coming up in the lineup, followed
they can
by
only use. Wait, are there?
Yeah. They got right, and then it's a left-hander, and then a right-hander, and a left-hander. Right? That's the order of things. I want to see Supermart come in that situation to pitch the 8th, and then Puck to pitch the 9th, because that's gonna optimize the matchups.
That's a lot of guys on a cooking show.
Yes, it is. It's teams like in Hell's Kitchen. Is that the show?
No, I'm pretty sure it's Level Up Kitchen something.
Okay, yeah, whatever. So, and the rest of the bullpen's been doing a great job of not letting small deficits become big deficits, right?
Okay, a deficit?
Well, so
how?
Okay, so you know how we talked about this before, right? How the D-backs could never come back from behind.
Yeah, they went like 1 for like 36 or something.
Yeah, when they went down by 2 or more runs, right. So it felt like they would go down 2 and then 4, then they would score 2 more to cut the lead back to 2, but then they'd give up 3 more, then score 2 more, and they could never take the lead back, right? Yeah. It's kind of, here's an analogy. It's like if you're in a boat.
They're in a boat?
They're in a boat. They're all, but they're gonna burn the boats when they get to shore. But before they can burn the boats,
why would they do that?
So nobody can leave. Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty much like kidnapping.
Let's just call it motivation to adapt to their new environment. So, it's a baseball thing. Burn the ships, burn the boats.
In schools, there's a lot of kidnappings.
Oh, that seems awkward.
It's mostly in preschool, though.
What a strange thing to say.
Yeah, it's because there's always kids napping.
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
There's kids napping in preschool.
You're right.
So there's a lot of kids napping.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
I hope you get that, because we could get canceled for that.
So the boats. Let's go back to the boat analogy.
Yep, that's better.
Get away from the kidnappings. And so it's like the boat. If you're in a boat, right, and the boat is taking on water, right? You spring a hole, and the boat's starting to take on water, and you got like a bucket, right? And you're trying to bail water out before the boat sinks. But every time you are able to scoop out 2 gallons of water, you're taking on 3 more gallons of water, and you just can't bail fast enough, and you end up sinking because of it. And that's essentially what was happening to the D-backs. But now, when the team gets behind / the boat takes on water, the team has enough relief pitchers to go and patch up that boat, all those holes in it, and allow the offense to bail that water out of the boat before it sinks.
Why didn't they have the D-backs on the Titanic?
Yeah, we know how that went.
Yeah, it's.
Let's not have the D-backs be the Titanic. How about? I think we want him to be more like the Santa Maria, and we want him to complete their voyage and, have the...
No, I was saying, why don't they have the relief
dinner.
pitchers on the Titanic so they could patch up the hole?
Oh, because it was... Relief pitchers weren't paid enough back then. I don't even think relief pitchers really existed back then. It was pretty much just a starting pitcher pitched the whole game every game. It's weird.
The Padres were the iceberg.
So yeah, let's get back in the water. And we're going to finish here with the offense because they have been absolutely spectacular. They lead Major League Baseball in runs scored for the entire season. They also lead in runs scored since the All-Star break. Here's the WRC pluses for all of the standouts on the roster since the All-Star break. Jock Peterson, he's got 216 work plus.
Yeah.
Ketel Marte, granted he's out, but he has a 210 work plus.
Yeah.
Adrian Castillo, who just joined the team a couple of weeks ago for when Gabby Moreno went down. He's got a 172 WRC plus. Good for number 3 on the team since he joined it. Jake McCarthy's got a 163. All of those guys are in the top 20 or 30 hitters in all of Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. It's pretty minimum 40 plate appearances. It's pretty insane. They've been amazing. Corbin Carroll's got a 152. Gino has got a 139. Bell has got a 135. Domo getting in on the action at a 127. And your boy, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. has got a 122. That's 9. That's 9 batters that are hitting 20% better than league average or better than that even. Woo! That is an insane deep offense. Insane deep offense that is clicking all cylinders right now. As a team, they have the best work plus in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. I think I mentioned that already, but maybe not. They're edging out the Yankees, who have the 2 best hitters in Major League Baseball in their lineup. They have balance on the season. They're 5th in work plus versus left-handed pitching, 6th versus right-handed pitching. They're hitting a lot of home runs. They're 9th in Major League Baseball. They're 3rd in home runs since the All-Star break. They have the 8th most runs scored from home runs this season. Does that make sense, that statement? So they've scored like 240 runs from home runs, and they have like 640 runs scored on the season. So they have that puts them at only 26th. They're 26th out of 30 in Major League Baseball for the percentage of runs scored from home runs. They are barely scoring any of their runs from home runs. They are so far out in first place for most runs scored in every other way other than a home run that there's pretty much zero chance that they're going to get caught. And they're still hitting a fair share of home runs. It's pretty incredible. Fold in their trademark great base running, and you get the highest runs scored per game in all of Major League Baseball. Freaking sweet, people. This is the team to watch. The most fun team in baseball, I would argue, to watch. The other team that I would...
The only thing is they don't have a home run celebration.
I know. They need one. That was such a 2023 thing. Just everybody, literally every team had a home run celebration. And now in 2024, there's only like 3 teams that do it. It's interesting. It's like the Orioles and, yeah, I couldn't even tell you who else does it.
The Orioles has the best one.
It's true. Yeah. Well, now it's the water bong. That sounded weird. Where they... the hydronator or something they call it. So, yeah, you're right, though. They should have really ran with the bee.
The bees.
They should have done that. I mean, on the flip side, their season did kind of turn around the night of the bee fiasco. I should go back and look at that and see what their record is since the bees. Because that would be kind of interesting. So, yeah, that's the team in a nutshell right now. It's, like I said, super fun to watch. Yeah, I would posit that they are absolutely the most...
Wait, don't pause. Don't pause it.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to
unpause.
I thought we were going to pretend like we were paused.
Oh. Okay.
You blinked. God dang it.
So, Yeah, them and I think the KC Royals are another really fun team to watch this season. They are built a lot like the D-backs are, which is kind of interesting.
No what?
But the D-backs have been
You screwed up.
better. All right, so Phoenix. With that said, what are you most looking forward to in the week or weeks ahead?
Well, I'm really excited. Or the D-backs, or actually, I'm excited for Merrill Kelly to get back into the first season, first half hot streak again.
Yeah.
And I'm also excited to see the D-backs hitting OPS, like get above 600. This is sounding really, really bad.
600? No. Like
OPS.
I wonder what their 800 maybe. I wonder what their team OPS
I want to
is.
have a day where there's no hitters that are cold. That'd be an awesome
a week?
day.
Yeah. One of our shows, no cold hitters. Yeah, because we're not. I mean, if you don't know, we don't include guys like. Oh, you know what we didn't touch on? The D-backs signed one of our trade targets. Just about to bring him up.
Guillermo.
Guillorme. Luis Guillorme.
Same thing.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about him because we discussed him before on our show. Because if you weren't following us then, we had commented that Luis Guillorme, because of his fit on the roster, would make a really good low wattage trade pickup. Well,
did you see his play yesterday?
Oh my gosh, that was the most incredible. I think that might have been the best play I've ever seen from a second baseman. Defensive play.
And we have Ketel Marte.
It was incredible. Right. And we have Ketel Marte. And that was better than anything Ketel Marte has done this season. That was an insane play. And so he's an incredibly good defensive player. He hits left-handed, so he's an awesome platoon complement. He's on the strong side of the platoon with Kevin Newman. He's already had a couple of big hits. He has a league average OPS against right-handed pitching for his career. It's a little down this season, but he's been really good for his career. He's 29 years old, so it's not like he hasn't been playing for long. And Newman, as good as he is against left-handed pitchers, he struggles a lot versus right-handed pitching. Even this season, his OPS plus against against right-handed pitchers is like 68 or 69. It's not very good. So having Guillorme, who's probably a better defender than Newman, which is an insane thing to say, and then on top of that, versus right-handed pitching, you just upgraded your offense dramatically out of the second base position for the time being. And he's got a shot at sticking on the roster after everybody comes back, because I don't know, Walker's going to come back. And when Moreno comes back, Herrera just goes. When Walker comes back, because Alek Thomas is injured. Did we discuss that? He got hurt. Alek Thomas got hurt at AAA, and he's pretty much out for the rest of the season as a result. So,
God dang it.
Yeah, so he's probably not going to be coming back, which the same day that they announced that Thomas got hurt was the same day they signed Guillorme. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of a connection there. Like, Thomas is down for the rest of the season, so we're going to sign Guillorme. Guillorme is going to stay on the roster. When Walker comes back, Walker just jumps into the lineup. When Ketel Marte comes back, it's going to be a little interesting to see what they do, because they may hang on to Guillorme. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop Josh Bell. He's been good, but not great. And
he used to be on my cold list, but then I had to update it for today because we were busy 2 days ago. So
and there's just not a lot of fit for Josh Bell on the line in the lineup when you have Christian Walker back, and Jock Peterson is your best hitter versus right-handed pitching. You're not going to replace your DH. Bell, the only thing that you could really do is if you really wanted to put Peterson out in the outfield, you could do that. But he hasn't played an inning of outfield all season. I doubt they're going to do that. Yeah. And then you could put Bell at DH. But then what are you going to do? Take out Jake McCarthy? Or like, it's just, it gets kind of weird. So Bell doesn't have great fit. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up dropping Bell over Guillorme. I know that sounds really silly to a lot of people, but I think it's very possible. And so we'll see what ends up happening. But
so what are you excited for?
Yeah, so I am actually, speaking of all this, I'm looking forward to getting all our guys back off the injured list and seeing what the team does. They've got, Moreno. I mean, honestly, Moreno's pretty much not been missed at all, which is an incredible thing to say for how good he is. But Del Castillo has just been absolutely nuts on fire. He's been, their third best hitter since he came up to the majors. It's incredible. Yeah. And then Walker, it sounds like, is going to be back, like you predicted, literally right on September 1st. They're probably going to activate him, and he'll be back in the lineup. And then nothing on Ketel Marte. So Bell's place, Bell and Guillorme, Newman. I have no idea which one who they're going to cut. I would guess it would be Guillorme or Bell is the guy who's going to get removed from the roster
probably
when
Bell.
Marte comes back, but who knows?
Yeah.
So that's really it, is just getting all our guys back, especially, Marte and Walker had been the two best players on the team when they both went down. So getting those two guys back is huge. And then,
all right.
Yeah. And then seeing where they go from there. But wow, what an absolute incredible team once they get them back in that lineup. So
all right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Please like, comment, subscribe. And of course, channel your inner kindergartner.
And share.
Yes, please do share. You got it, friends, family. I know you got some other friends, family that are baseball fans out there, Dbacks fans. Pass this along to them. Dodgers fans, absolutely pass it along to them so they can hear our unbiased MVP updates.
Yep.
And then with that,
take it away, Limerick. And I also had a runner in a dust storm like 3 days ago. So yeah.
All right, Limerick.
Under.